ये खाने की चैंपियनशिप थी क्या? आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
नमस्ते लैंड। Good evening, you're with us on DD India. Welcome to Express News, where we bring you top 100 news of the day from national and international spheres. Over the next half an hour, we'll update you with all that made news today in a quick, crisp, succinct manner. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. President Ramnath Kovind presented India's highest civilian awards, Padma Awards 2021 at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Today, the President conferred the Padma Awards 2021 to 119 recipients. The awards were presented in two sessions, morning and evening. The list of personalities who were awarded during the morning ceremony included 3 Padma Vibhushans, 5 Padma Bhushans and 44 Padma Shri Awards. Among the personalities awarded the Padma Vibhushan were veteran doctor and educationist Dr. Bele Monappa Hegde, veteran sculptor from Odisha Sudarshan Sahu and archaeologist Braj Basi Lal. Among other personalities awarded the Padma Bhushan were former Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan, former Chief Secretary of Prime Minister Narendra Modi Nripendra Mishra. Among those who were honoured with Padma Bhushan posthumously included former Chief Minister of Assam Tarun Gogoi, former Union Minister Ramvilas Paswan and Keshubhai Patel. Former Governor of Goa Mridula Sinha was conferred with the Padma Shri Award posthumously. Among other personalities awarded the Padma Shri were Ustad Gulfam Ahmed, basketball player P. Anita and British film director Peter Brook. President of India Ramnath Kovind presented the remaining Padma Vibhushan and Padma Shri Awards for the year 2021 this evening at the second civil investiture ceremony held at Rashtrapati Bhavan. SP Balasubramaniam received the Padma Vibhushan posthumously for his contribution to music, while Dr. Narinder Singh Kapani received the prestigious Padma Vibhushan for his contribution to science and engineering. India will host the Delhi Regional Security Dialogue on Afghanistan tomorrow. The Delhi Regional Security Dialogue on Afghanistan will witness an expanded participation of Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz Republic, Russia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, who will all be represented by their respective national security advisors. National Security Advisor of India, Ajit Doval, held NSA-level bilateral meetings with his counterpart ahead of Delhi Regional Security Dialogue on Afghanistan. NSA Ajit Doval held bilateral meeting with Secretary, Security Council of Tajikistan, Nasrullah Rahmat John Mahmoodzoda. The official death toll in rain-related incidents in Tamil Nadu has gone up to 5. The State Disaster Management Minister said 538 huts had been damaged and 4 houses fully destroyed in the showers so far. Meanwhile, water release from Pundi Reservoir has been increased to 5,000 cusecs at 10 this morning. The India Meteorological Department has sounded a red alert in Tamil Nadu for the next 3 days till Thursday. In its latest bulletin issued at noon on Tuesday, the IMD predicted light to moderate rainfall at most places with heavy to very heavy rainfall and extremely heavy falls at isolated places in the state. BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra slammed the Congress for corruption in the Rafale deal between 2007 to 2012 and termed the party as "I need commission." This is quote unquote. Addressing a press conference at BJP headquarters, Patra said Congress leader Rahul Gandhi tried to create a false atmosphere regarding Rafale before the 2019 elections. Maharashtra leader of opposition Devendra Fadnavis accused Maharashtra cabinet minister Nawab Malik of having links with the underworld. Fadnavis said that Nawab Malik did business with people involved in blasts that shook Mumbai. He purchased land from convicts of the case at rates cheaper than the market prices. Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal addressed the gathering at the Services Export Promotion Council Global Services Conclave 2021. Piyush Goyal said that India is poised to achieve services export target of $1 trillion by 2030. The minister said that services are a key driver of India's economic growth. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh inaugurates a new biotechnology centre for Northeast tribals in remote area of Arunachal Pradesh in Kimin. The biotech center, covering 4 districts and over 50 villages, will benefit over 10,000 farmers in the next 2 years. The National Legal Service Day is being celebrated today. Union Minister of Law and Justice Kiran Rijiju attended a function at the Sharda University campus. The National Legal Service Day is celebrated by NALSA and at the state level by State Legal Services Authority (SLSA) across the country on November 9th every year. This day aims to spread awareness for ensuring reasonable and fair justice procedure for all citizens. The National Legal Service Day was also addressed by Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana, Patron-in-Chief of NALSA. CJI said that earlier the idea of legal aid was confined to courtrooms, but over the course of 26 years, legal service authorities have broken the traditional notion of legal aid and have given an expanded meaning to access to justice. In a tragic incident in Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh, 4 children died in a fire accident in the special newborn care unit of Kamla Nehru Children's Hospital in Bhopal, MP. Minister of Medical Education in the state visited Hamidia Hospital in Bhopal, where 36 children are under treatment. Meanwhile, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that a probe has been ordered into the incident. He added that stringent action will be taken against those found guilty for the accident. General Prabhu Ram Sharma, Chief of the Army Staff, Nepali Army, called on General Manoj Mukund Naravane, Chief of Army Staff, and exchanged views on further strengthening defence cooperation between the two countries. Chief of the Army Staff, Nepali Army, General Prabhu Ram Sharma, called on Defence Secretary Dr. Ajay Kumar in New Delhi. Uttarakhand celebrates its 21st Foundation Day today. A program was held in the state capital Dehradun, where police parade was organised. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami took salute of the parade. Uttarakhand came into being on the 9th of this month in the year 2000. Earlier it was part of Uttar Pradesh. India continues to fight COVID-19 with the administration of 59,08,440 vaccine doses in the last 24 hours. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has now exceeded 108 crore 47 lakh. The recovery of 11,982 patients in the last 24 hours has increased the cumulative tally of recovered patients since the beginning of the pandemic to 3 crore 37 lakh 63,104. Consequently, India's recovery rate stands at 98.25%. Sustained and collaborative efforts by the centre and the states continue the trend of less than 50,000 daily new cases that are being reported for 135 consecutive days now. The active caseload presently stands at 1,40,638, which is the lowest in 263 days. The active cases presently constitute 0.41% of the country's total positive cases, which is the lowest since March last year. Testing capacity across the country continues to be expanded. The last 24 hours saw a total of 8,70,058 tests being conducted. India has so far conducted over 61 crore 60 lakh cumulative tests so far. While testing capacity has been enhanced across the country, the weekly positivity rate, 1.25%, is less than 2% for the last 46 days now. The daily positivity rate is reported to be 0.93%. It is less than 2% for the last 36 days now. And reflecting worldwide acceptance of India's vaccines and our vaccination process, 96 countries have now agreed for mutual acceptance of vaccination certificates. More than 116 crore vaccine doses have been provided to the states and UTs, and more than 15 crore 92 lakh balance and unutilized vaccine doses are still available with states' UTs. Taking cognizance of the rising Zika virus cases in Uttar Pradesh, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is expected to visit Kanpur tomorrow. Yogi Adityanath had earlier directed officials to run the Vishesh Sanchari Rog Niyantran Abhiyan and the Dastak campaign in a proactive manner. On to business news now. The equity benchmark Sensex dropped 112 points on Tuesday after a volatile trading session. The 30-share index ended 0.2% lower at 60,434. Similarly, the NSE Nifty fell 24 points or 0.1% to 18,044. At the MCX, gold futures recorded a dip of 33 rupees at 48,015 rupees per 10 grams. Silver prices stood at 64,877 rupees per kilo, recording a downfall of 119 rupees. Prices of petrol and diesel have remained unchanged on Tuesday across various cities. In Delhi, petrol prices remained at 103 rupees 97 paise a litre, and that of diesel remained at 86 rupees 67 paise. Petrol prices in Mumbai remained at 109 rupees 98 paise a litre, and that of diesel stood at 94 rupees 14 paise per litre. The Indian rupee paired initial gains to settle marginally up by 1 paisa at 74 rupees 2 paise against the US dollar on Tuesday amid a lackluster trend in the domestic equities. Brent crude advanced 0.83% to settle at $83.43 a barrel after dropping nearly 2% last week. US oil gained 0.8% to settle at $81.93, having declined almost 3% through Friday. On to Wall Street. Stocks ended slightly higher on Monday, rising early after passage of a US infrastructure spending bill, but pairing gains late as sliding Tesla shares weighed the indices down. Still, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq extended their run of all-time closing highs to 8 straight sessions. The blue chip Dow notched its second consecutive record closing high. Industrials and materials got a boost after the US Congress passed President Joe Biden's $1 trillion infrastructure spending bill on Saturday. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.3%, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite added 0.1%. A 4.9% decline in Tesla Inc. shares, however, weighed on the S&P 500. Bitcoin and Ether made record peaks in Asia trade on Tuesday as enthusiasm for cryptocurrency and adoption and fears about inflation lent support to the asset class. Bitcoin rose as high as $67,803 and Ether, the second biggest cryptocurrency by market value, hit $4,825 in early Asian hours. Bitcoin inflows totaled $95 million last week, representing the largest inflows of all digital assets, while inflows during an 8-week bull run for the cryptocurrency were $2.8 billion on Monday. Let's now take a look at updates on COVID-19 from across the world. COVID-19 cases crossed 25 crore across the world. The world recorded more than 22 crore 72 lakh recoveries from the disease, while the number of fatalities stand above 50 lakh 70,000. The USA continues to remain the worst affected nation with COVID-19, with over 4 crore 74 lakh cases so far. The country has lost more than 7 lakh 75,000 lives due to COVID-19. The Mexico-United States border, one of the longest in the world, saw little traffic on Monday as it reopened to non-essential travel following a 20-month closure due to COVID-19. In October, the Department of Homeland Security announced that it was opening United States land ports of entry and ferry terminals to non-citizen travelers who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and have appropriate documentation. Germany's coronavirus infection rate has risen to its highest level since the start of the pandemic, public health figures showed on Monday. Doctors warned that they will need to postpone scheduled operations in the coming weeks. The 7-day incidence rate, the number of people per 100,000 to be infected over the last week, rose to 201.1, higher than a previous record of 197.6 in December last year. New Zealand beefed up security measures at its parliament today as thousands of people gathered to protest against COVID-19 vaccine mandates and government lockdowns. Heavy security has been deployed as mostly unmasked protesters marched through central Wellington and congregated outside parliament. Meanwhile, EU authorities have clarified that there is no conclusive evidence of a cancer risk from synthetic face masks and have urged people to keep wearing them after a Belgian study warned last month that they may contain carcinogens. Face masks are widely considered to be the crucial tools to reduce the spread of COVID-19 and have become an everyday item for a large part of the world's population through the COVID-19 pandemic. Robots have been dispatched at different venues to help with epidemic screening and control at the Wukesong Stadium in Beijing, where the ice hockey events of the upcoming Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics will take place in February. At a test event held this week in Wukesong Stadium, a robot was used for disinfection. It can spray atomized fog to the ground, sterilizing an area of 36 square meters within just a minute. Another robot is capable of walking up to those who are not wearing masks and to tell them to wear one. Experts say that the robots can complete the work of volunteers with higher efficiency. The so-called delivery robots are standing by in the buffer zone. In this area, staff members can put objects on the robots, which can load things up to 300 kilos. The United States is grappling with low vaccination rates against coronavirus, as there have been mixed messages regarding the use of masks, coupled with hesitancy among residents to receive COVID-19 jabs. As the highly contagious Delta variant is spreading rapidly in the country, increasing cases have been reported from states that have lower vaccination rates, such as that of Mississippi. Nearly 23,000 students in Mississippi have tested positive for COVID-19 since most of the schools started the new academic year in August. Although the vaccination campaign has been expanded to children aged 5 to 11, vaccination still remains a controversial topic in Mississippi. Rescue workers pulled a man out of Ogoffinendu near Penvilt last evening in what is believed to be the longest stretcher carry in the British cave rescue history. More than 240 people were involved in the operation. The caver, in his 40s, is alive after his 54-hour ordeal and was taken to a hospital in an ambulance. The US State Department on Monday said that Washington believes there is a small window of an opening to work with the African Union to make progress on peacefully resolving the conflict in Ethiopia as a special envoy returned to Addis Ababa. State Department spokesman Ned Price said Jeffrey Feltman, US Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, will be meeting with the African Union's envoy for the region, former President Obasanjo of Nigeria. In the West African country Niger, at least 25 children aged 5 to 6 have died after their straw hut classrooms caught fire. Several others were injured during the blaze, which broke out on Monday as children took part in school lessons in the country's Maradi region. Some of those injured were said to be in a critical condition. The cause of the fire is not yet known. Poland is closing its border crossing with Belarus at Kuznica, the border guard said on Monday, due to the situation nearby where large groups of migrants have been trying to force their way through the frontier. Thousands of migrants were massing near the Belarus border on Monday. The move comes as the members of the European Union call for more sanctions against Minsk, and security forces braced for more attempts to force through the frontier. The US State Department on Monday said that it is concerned with disturbing images and reports from the border of Poland and Belarus and called on the government of Belarus to immediately halt its campaign of orchestrating and coercing irregular migration flows across its borders. Poland said on Monday it expects groups of several hundred migrants each to attempt to cross into the country from Belarus in the coming hours as thousands gather at the frontier. In Bolivia, transport and retail unions launched an indefinite strike on Monday to protest a law against illicit profits and terrorist financing that critics allege is a government ruse to seize private property. Opposition civil political groups joined the strike, accusing the socialist government of President Luis Arce of using laws and the justice system to centralize power and crack down on dissent. Lawsuits and threats of legal action mounted on Monday on behalf of concert goers crushed in a stampede that left 8 dead at an outdoor rap music festival in Houston 3 days earlier, as investigators pursued a criminal probe into the tragedy. The victims were crushed in a surge of fans near the stage at a concert by Travis Scott, the hometown hip-hop star, on November 5th night, with some unable to breathe and others trampled underfoot. For more than 20 months, a travel ban prevented visitors from 33 countries coming to the USA, but that changed on Monday. For many, emotional journey ended in the arms of joyful relatives. Scenes of excitement were witnessed at the John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York and the Dulles Airport in Virginia as families separated by COVID-19 travel restrictions finally reunited. In Sri Lanka, 6 people have died and around 4,300 have been affected by flooding across the South Asian island country. Authorities said 12 houses were destroyed and more than 600 partially damaged. The Disaster Management Agency said that more rain is expected later this week. The Met Department has said that a cyclone forming in the Bay of Bengal was moving closer to the island nation. Here's an update on the SpaceX crew that arrived at the International Space Station in April for a long-duration science mission. SpaceX capsule with ISS astronauts returned to Earth, ending 200-day flight. Their homecoming coming just 8 hours after leaving the International Space Station paved the way for SpaceX's launch of their 4 replacements as early as Wednesday night. The COP26 summit has turned its focus on gender equality and science, highlighting the role of women and that of technological innovation in addressing climate change. The fight against climate change must be closely connected to the fight against gender inequality. The Women's Rights Agency of the UN said ensuring women's and girls' leadership was of vital importance if global efforts to tackle climate change are to succeed. For the last 5 years, librarian Raiden Roro Hendarte has been driving a mobile library, bringing books to children who would otherwise have no access to them in Indonesia's Java island. She's not only fostering a culture of reading among the youth, but she's also reducing neighborhood trash. Raiden's Trash Library allows children to borrow books in exchange for plastic cups, bags and other waste that she collects and sells to buy more books. The 48-year-old originally started her Trash for Books library in her hometown of Muntang in 2014. The response was good at first, but a staff shortage and a tapering off of interest put the initiative in jeopardy after a year. Then the local government and library stepped in and gave her a 3-wheel truck and also some more books so that she could take her project on the road. Raiden ventures out every weekday, aiming to visit at least 3 different areas. How do you describe this feeling? Those were the words of Bhavna Patel at John F. Kennedy Airport on Monday as she met her grandson for the first time after the first intercontinental flights touched following the lifting of COVID-19 restrictions. For over a year, Bhavna Patel watched her first grandchild grow via FaceTime, talking to him in New York every day, while the US travel restrictions prevented her from making the trip from London. An increasing number of franchisee coffee shops in Seoul are not offering single-use plastic cups. Instead, they use multi-use cups for eco-friendly movement. They are multi-use cups that can be reused up to 100 times. All you have to do is place the used cups in a return machine. This system was first introduced to 4 branches in the Jeju-do island. More than 20 swans were seen playing and foraging on a lake in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region the other day. They stopped over at the Ulungur Lake, a temporary habitat to the migrant birds on their way to the south. The swans, mainly whooper swans and mute swans, will continue to fly southward after the lake is completely frozen. China's Mars orbiter successfully entered the remote sensing orbit of Mars on Monday for the global exploration of Mars, according to the China National Space Administration. China's Tianwen-1 mission, consisting of an orbiter, a lander and a rover, was launched on July 23, 2020. The rover Churong drove down from its from its landing platform to the Martian surface on May 22nd this year. Back home, Jammu and Kashmir's Srinagar was included among the 49 new cities in UNESCO's Creative Cities Network 2021 for the crafts and folk art category. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Srinagar for joining UNESCO's Creative Cities Network 2021. In his tweet, he said, I quote him, "Delighted that beautiful Srinagar joins the UNESCO Creative Cities Network with a special mention for its art, craft, folk art." Bangkok is preparing for the Loy Krathong festival celebrated across the city on November 19th with strict COVID-19 measures in place. Bangkok Governor Ashwin Kwan Muang announced that this year's Loy Krathong festival will be held at 2 prime locations. The festival is celebrated to show respect to the river, basically the goddess of the river called Pramai Kongkha. A group of lucky capybara enjoyed a soak in a hot bath in Japan's Suzaka City, Nagano Prefecture. The water was filled with chrysanthemum flowers and set to very pleasant 40 degrees Celsius. Capybaras were seen relaxing by themselves in the hot bath, much to the delight of the visitors. The animals can enjoy taking a dip until 24th of April next year. Indonesian government believes that the traditional slippery pole climbing competition held by local residents in the Siasot tourism village, Narmada district, West Lombok Regency, could be a traditional event to attract tourists. It said that the tradition of climbing the slippery pole from a reka nut tree trunk must be preserved, as this cultural heritage can be a tourist attraction and that it can restore the community's economy. Artifacts are an indispensable part of the nation's cultural heritage. Recently, a collection of artifacts called the An Bien Collection was introduced to the public by the Vietnam Cultural Heritage Association, Hai Phong Antiquities Association. The collection is expected to promote Vietnam's heritage conservation activities. 100 cars painted with images of characters from anime, manga and video games were on display for fans at an event in Fukushima Prefecture, northeastern Japan. The cars are called Itasha in Japanese, which literally means cringe-worthy vehicles. Fans flocked to the event venue in the Izaka hot spring area in Fukushima city to see the heavily decorated cars from across the country. The special designs of China's homegrown extravehicular activities spacesuits have played an important role in helping 2 taikonauts complete EVAs on early hours on Monday. The pair, Chai Chiang and Wang Yaping, came out of China's space station core module Tianhe wearing new generation of extravehicular spacesuits with the colors bearing special meanings, according to one of their designers. Taikonauts Chai Chi-chang and Wang Yaping have completed their extravehicular activities and returned to the space station core module Tianhe, the China Manned Space Agency said in the early hours on Monday. The event was the 3rd extravehicular mission conducted during the construction of the country's space station and the first by Shenzhou 13 crew. Chiang Mai's Dao Intanon National Park, Thailand's highest peak, will reopen to visitors this Wednesday for the first time in several months. Visitors are attracted by the cool breeze to relish the rolling sea of winter mist. To ensure safety, the number of visitors will initially be limited to 2,000 a day and to 50 at each viewpoint. The Padma Awards 2021 ceremony took place today, where President Ramnath Kovind conferred prestigious Padma Awards to sport athletes and dignitaries. The President awarded the prestigious Padma Shri to K.Y. Venkatesh, who led India at the 5th Dwarf Olympic Games, and India then bagged a total of 17 medals at that event. International athlete in the 3,000-meter steeplechase event and 42-kilometer marathon, Sudha Singh Ahas, has also been awarded with Padma Shri. Sudha Singh, Arjuna awardee, received the award today by the President in New Delhi. The President also awarded Padma Shri to Dr. Anshu Jamsenpa, who holds 2 world records as the fastest woman mountaineer to summit Mount Everest twice in 5 days and the first woman mountaineer for double ascents of Mount Everest. And P. Anita, the youngest ever player to have captained the senior Indian side of national basketball team at the age of 19, was also conferred with the prestigious Padma Shri Award in New Delhi today. P. Anita has represented Indian national basketball women team for 18 years. In first-class cricket back home, Vidarbha's bowler Akshay Karnewar has created a new world record in T20 cricket. Akshay has become the first bowler in the world to concede 0 runs in 4 overs. Vidarbha all-rounder Akshay achieved this feat at the Syed Mushtaq Ali T20 tournament in their match against Manipur. The first semi-final of the ICC T20 World Cup will see England taking on New Zealand in Abu Dhabi on November 10th, while Pakistan will take on Australia in the second semi-final in Dubai on November the 11th. In football, Newcastle United have appointed Eddie Howe to succeed Steve Bruce as the Premier League club's head coach. Howe, who has signed a contract until the summer of 2024, has not been in management since he left Bournemouth in August 2020 following relegation. With this, he takes over with Newcastle 19th in the table, 5 points from safety after 11 games. Barcelona presented Xavi Hernandez as their new head coach in front of thousands of fans at the Camp Nou. The 41-year-old Barca great signed his contract, which runs until 2024, on the pitch alongside club president Juan Laporta. Watford have announced the signing of Nigeria goalkeeper Maduka Oke for an undisclosed fee from their Dutch club Sparta Rotterdam. The 5.5-year deal will begin on 1st January 2022 and run until the end of 2026-27 season. Paul Pogba has been ruled out of France's World Cup qualifiers against Kazakhstan and Finland after suffering a right thigh injury. Wheelchair tennis world number 1 Dylan Alcott will bid for a record 8th successive Australian Open title at his home Grand Slam before bowing out of the sport. The reigning NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks visited the White House, where they were greeted by United States President Joe Biden. The Bucks are the first NBA team to visit the White House since the Cleveland Cavaliers were honored there in 2016. The New York City Marathon winners regrouped atop the Empire State Building for a photo op on Monday, the day after Olympic champion Paris Jepchirchir was the first woman to cross the finish line of the 50th running of the New York City Marathon. 7 defendants involved in the probe into Argentine soccer star Diego Maradona's death appeared in court on Monday. The defendants, who had their fingerprints taken at San Isidro Court, will be processed almost a year after Maradona's death. In his short and tumultuous career, Russian high jumper Daniil Lysenko's name has been more often associated with scandal than with World Championship success. Lysenko, silver medalist at the 2017 World Championships, was provisionally suspended in 2018 after recording 3 whereabout failures within a 12-month period. To celebrate the unprecedented success of South Korean drama Squid Game, Netflix put on a special screening in Hollywood on Monday. The show, about impoverished people playing a deadly game to win a fortune, has been Netflix's most popular show ever. The show has hit headlines for numerous reasons, from controversial Halloween costumes to Squid Game-themed protests outside the COP26 climate summit. More than 50 years after we've only just begun, and yesterday once more, Richard Carpenter has both warm and bitter memories of the California soft pop duo with his sister Karen that ruled the charts but got a rough ride from music critics. Now he is telling the story his way in the book Carpenter's The Musical Legacy. Crammed with photos, posters, programs, reviews and work schedules, it is intended as the comprehensive and definitive story of the 1970s recording stars. After their breakout hit, They Long to Be Close to You in 1970, the Carpenters had a run of hit singles including Top of the World and Rainy Days and Mondays. Their career came to a tragic end when Karen died in 1983 of heart failure attributed to complications from anorexia nervosa. Hip-hop legend Missy Elliott was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Monday during an emotional ceremony attended by singers Lizzo and Kiara. Elliott broke down in tears when she took the stage and spoke of her struggles with anxiety and depression. The drama of extreme weather and the challenge of climate negotiators at UN talks in Glasgow are not lost on theatres that have made sustainability central to their reopening from pandemic closures. After lockdowns provided time to reflect, a green book compiled in Britain seeks to remove thousands of tons of unsustainable material from set design to reuse costumes and eliminate waste. One of the more than 50 theatres pledging to follow its rules is the London-based National Theatre, who from June agreed to meet at least the first of 3 standards set out in the book on every production. Since productions have included Paradise, starring Leslie Sharp, and they are currently putting the finishing touches to the set of Trouble in Mind, a satire of racism in the theatre that opens next month. Some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry gathered in Los Angeles to attend the annual LACMA, or the Los Angeles County Museum of Art Plus Film Gala. Artists Amy Sherald and Kehinde Wiley and filmmaker Steven Spielberg were honoured at this year's event. The gala, now in its 10th year, was presented by Gucci and co-chaired by Leonardo DiCaprio and Eva Chow. Best known for his Laugh and Loud movies, actor and comedian Will Ferrell found it liberating to branch out in The Shrink Next Door, a dark comedy about the relationship between a manipulative psychiatrist and his patient. Inspired by real events, Ferrell plays Marty, reuniting with his Anchorman cast member Paul Rudd, who portrays Dr. Ike. Back home, actor Shweta Tiwari on Monday surprised her fans by sharing a dance video with daughter Palak Tiwari on the latter's song Bijli Bijli. The mother-daughter duo is seen grooving in the outdoors to peppy Hardy Sandhu's song. And Anil Kapoor's son, actor Harshvardhan Kapoor, is celebrating his 31st birthday today. His sister Sonam took to her Instagram handle to share pictures with her brother and wrote, "Love you, brother." So that's it in this edition of Express News. We will be back tomorrow same time with the top 100 news of the day. Until we meet again, you take very good care of yourself. Stay masked whenever you move out. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.
आज तो पार्टी चाहिए। चैंपियन के साथ सेल्फी लेंगे।